Okay, congratulations. This is Avinoam, and you might remember me from the introductory video. And now I'm going making another video to sort of after you've done your initial testing with us. Like I said, congratulations to you for putting up with me, for making it through our three fun exercise, Fardy Jews, Catherine Manter, and Michael Rickson. I hope you enjoyed them as much as I enjoyed marking them. And now you will have returned to me the signed agreement, and you will receive an email that looks something like this. Of course, where it says TFE typist, it will have your name, and this email will also be sent to our managers, in this case, Sharon and Devora, who I'm sure you'll get to know very well over your career at TFE. But what happens to many typists is they receive this email and they become very flustered. Um, and so we decided to make a video to explain to you and sort of go through here what's going on. So we hope that this will help. So we'll just go through the email with you in greater detail and just walk you through the steps, because not everybody does so well reading documents, but does better watching it on video. So, okay, it gives me great honor to welcome TFE typists to the family. You'll make a great addition to the legal team or the general team or any other team. And then it says, please read through all of this information. Please meet Sharon and Devora, who covers for Sharon or manages some of our other teams. And then the first thing we tell you to do is to install Dropbox. Okay, so let's do that. It says, please review the attached Dropbox setup file carefully. You can certainly do that. Everything I'm going to show you is there. However, in this case, we're not going to do that because I'm going to show it to you on video. It tells you the login information is tfetypist at transcriptionforeveryone.com. That is true. And this is the password. This password does change periodically. And then it tells you, I cannot stress enough the importance of never deleting anything from Dropbox and making use of the selective sync feature. It is also extremely helpful if you install Dropbox to your computer and not only use it by logging into Dropbox.com using an internet browser. So let's explain what those two things are. So there's two ways to access Dropbox. The first one is by going to Dropbox.com. And if you go to Dropbox.com, you can see this is what my Dropbox looks like. I got like my whole life in here. And if you go here, you won't have this yet because you haven't installed Dropbox. But this is how the Dropbox looks on my computer. You see there's like a little icon here. It looks like a box, I suppose, with a check mark on it. That check mark means that my Dropbox is fully synchronized with the Dropbox on the internet. Now, I'm pretty sure that I went over this in the introductory video, but it bears repeating because it is just so important. So if we look here in this Dropbox, this is what I'm going to call your local Dropbox, the one on the computer. And this is what I call Dropbox.com, because this you access only via the internet browser like Google Chrome or Firefox or something like that. And if you pay close attention, you'll see that these are actually the exact same. See, I have a folder called 00 to print, Avinoam's files to edit. Wait a second. I have Avinoam's files to edit and Avinoam's personal files. That's true. But I don't have ANP checkdocs and ANP QA software. So the reason why I don't have those on my local Dropbox is because I have not I have selectively synced not to have those particular files found on Dropbox.com on my local Dropbox. And you can actually decide what you want to have locally on your computer versus what you have on Dropbox.com. So the first thing you want to make sure is that you actually install Dropbox. So for you, it'll be really easy. You'll just go to Dropbox.com and you'll click here, download the app. Download the app. You'll download, you will install. Life will be really easy for you, right? You'll save this, you'll install, or it might just download automatically, and then you'll open it. I'm sure you know how to download and run files. Then when you install Dropbox, ultimately it will ask you for a login screen for login information. That login information, when you log in, is here. The TFE typist at transcriptionforeveryone.com, password TFE1836TFE. Now I'm actually going to log in to that particular Dropbox.com just to show you what you'll see. Dun dun dun. Okay, this is the TFE Dropbox. This is what you will have access to with that login information. And so these three folders, TFE Active Projects, TFE Info Folder, and TFE Transcriber Transcript, is what you'll see in your local Dropbox folder. Okay, so don't get confused if yours doesn't look like this, because this is my personal Dropbox and TFE is just a part of my personal Dropbox. Yours will look like this. You will see these three folders, and these three folders you will see in here. Now it will take time for what you see here to synchronize with what you see here. And you'll know that it's synchronizing because you see this little beautiful green check mark that tells me it's up to date. That means it's finished synchronizing. Yours, especially in the beginning, you'll see like this blue, it's like a wheel that's turning, sort of is how it looks. And if you actually click on it, you'll see here it'll say synchronizing or syncing, and it'll tell you approximately how long it'll take to fully synchronize this Dropbox with your local Dropbox. Now it's very important that you work out of your local Dropbox because, for example, files in our Dropbox.com, I don't know, we'll just pick any random file here. For example, this one, these ones, okay? You cannot drag and drop files from here into ExpressScribe. Like it doesn't work. Like despite your best efforts to try to do it, it won't, like maybe it'll work. No, it won't work. And you'll be like, why isn't it working? I don't understand. I have Dropbox. I'm logged in. So you never actually want to go into Dropbox.com. Okay? You never ever want to go here. You want to, you see I have the same thing here. I have CAL FIRE CSUS, Active Projects, CAL FIRE CSUS 0203. Here I got the same files that I see here on my local Dropbox, and these ones I can certainly load to ExpressScribe. Okay, so that's very important to know that. So you're going to install Dropbox, and then you're going to see it slowly synchronize these three folders: the active projects, the info folder, as well as the transcriber transcripts folder. Now, you might not necessarily want all of the TFE folders on your local Dropbox. You want to selectively sync. You certainly don't want to have everybody's transcriber transcripts folder. So you need to learn how to selectively sync. That's actually pretty easy. You just click here on your Dropbox icon. So click on this gear over here and then select Preferences. Then you go over to Account and you press Selective Sync. Now you let this populate. Shouldn't take so long. There we go. Now you can see those two folders, AMP Check Docs, AMP QA Software, they're unchecked. So remember we saw here on my Dropbox.com, we saw these two folders that they existed, and if I want, I could have them on my local Dropbox, but I've unchecked them. So you're going to do the same thing. You're going to go into the transcriber transcripts, okay, which by default is going to look like this, and it's going to have everyone's information checked. And you're going to uncheck transcriber transcripts and only select your name, okay, or in this case, TFE typist, right? And that's how you're going to do that. Similarly, under the active projects, you're only going to want to check the projects that you're working on, and you can do this on and off as you go. You can change this. Like for example, some people might work on the dictate team, but not all the time. So if they need to, they just have to make sure, if they haven't synced this folder, you have to make sure that you just go back to here and sync it again to get that. Now the reason why you might not want to sync everything is because there's a lot of like active audio files going on at any given moment, and your initial synchronizing will take an even longer amount of time if you are syncing all of these folders. So you really only want to sync the ones that you need as you go. Like for example, most of you won't work on the Hebrew team, so this one for sure you can uncheck, and you'll never, actually check that one. So again, it will take a couple of hours. I would say probably, depending on your internet speed, it could take even up to like 12 hours. So leave your computer on for the first day. Let it just synchronize. The TFE Dropbox takes about 10 gigabytes of space on your computer, so it really shouldn't be a problem for you to install it anywhere. That is number one. There shouldn't be any issues. The most important thing is to selectively sync only the folders that you need. Oh, and I should mention, it's very important that you save your work to your transcriber transcripts folder in your Dropbox file. So you'll do that by opening up, when you're in Word in your template, and you'll go to Save As, and you'll navigate to Dropbox, and you'll find your transcriber transcripts folder, and you'll save your work in there. It's very important. And the reason why we do that, for those of you who are wondering, is because you're working in there. Great, fantastic. Now, all of a sudden, I don't know, you emailed your file to your editor, and your editor wakes up in the morning and just, for some reason, that email did not go through, cannot find your file. So what your editor can do is go to Dropbox.com, where there is all the files, and there they can then find your file that maybe didn't get to them in the email. So that's why we do this. Very important. Like, for example, if your internet goes down, right? So up until the point that you last saved, when your internet was working, your file will be there. So you also won't lose your work. So it's very, very important that you do that. That you save your work in your transcriber transcripts folder, and that is how you set up Dropbox and selectively sync. Now, the next thing we talked to you about here is the TFE info folder. This info folder really is a gold mine. It is really valuable. There are in here coaching call videos. Okay, we talk about later on that we have coaching calls every month, twice a month or so. We have legal calls, Torah calls, different topics. These are fantastic videos to watch. Each one is about an hour. These are the archives of previous calls that have happened. Also in here we have the archive of all of our newsletters. Every week we have a newsletter. Feel free to enjoy them, read them. Here we have all like the rules and regulations, which hopefully I'll never have to enforce on any of you. But they do tell you, like, all the rules and how stuff works, like, if you submit something late and how your files are rated, submitting work, all sorts of good stuff in here. Pay rates, a lot of people like this one, right? Tells you how much each different project pays and when you can expect to get paid for it. Software, this is great. A lot of good software in here that you might need. Here you have all of the guidelines, like the TFE general guidelines and our templates and all sorts of other good stuff in here. Videos, so like this video will ultimately be in here, and other videos have also made their way in here. Here is the video that you watched in the beginning, TFE Introduction Workplace Setup, for example. There's all sorts of other good goodies in here. But then there's a little PowerPoint that's here. So that is the info folder. Certainly, when you have free time, go through it all. It's very, very valuable. Next is your TFE email. Okay, your TFE email is your first initial. So like in this case, it's TFE typist, right? Plus your last name. So it's T typist. Mine is A Taub. Sam Kfor's is S Kfor. So everyone at TFE has one of these emails. This is not a real email address. It's a forwarder. So what that means is when I send an email to ttypist at transcriptionframework.com, it will forward to ttypist email, which happens to be my own email because it's just an email that I made for myself. But let's say your name is Jane Smith. So when I send an email to jsmith at transcriptionframework.com, it will forward to your Gmail or any other email that you have set up. Okay? It's not an email that you send from, it's an email that you receive to. So when you see that your editor, for example, is Sam Kfor, and you're like, hey, what's my editor's email address? Where am I supposed to send the file? So it's just skfor at transcriptionforeveryone.com. Okay, those are all pretty simple. Now we get to Redbooth. Redbooth is where people tend to get thrown off. So I will hopefully be able to explain it effectively. Okay. Redbooth is basically what we use for our assignments, but it's really nothing more than a fancy email program. Just keep that in your mind, that it's really just an email program. Redbooth is not where you receive your audio files. Dropbox is where you receive your audio files, right? Remember this active projects folder? This is where you'll receive your audio files. This is where you'll find your templates. This is where you'll find your guidelines. This is where you'll find everything you need. except it won't give you the instructions of what particular file you are supposed to work on. That is what you're going to find in Redbooth. Okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to go to redbooth.com. I believe I tell you to do this. Yes, go to redbooth.com, which used to be called Teambox, and you're going to get started for free. So I don't believe I have actually made a TFE typist email Redbooth account, so I'm going to make one. Right, you just type in your email address. Don't use your @transcriptionforeveryone.com. Use your regular email address. Okay. If you want to use your @transcriptionforeveryone.com for your Redbooth, you certainly can. Just tell us that you're doing that, and you sign up. Okay. We've sent an activation email. Okay. Let's see if I got that. Hopefully, I'll get it relatively soon. Looks like I got an expedite request. Yes. While we're waiting for the email, I suppose I can answer this. Tuesday afternoon. Oh, that's going to be tough. Okay, I have not gotten my Redbooth email yet. Maybe it went to my spam folder. Everyone loves spam. Lots of fun stuff in there. No Redbooth. Oh, there it is. Finally it came. Okay, so activate my Redbooth account. Okay, so I'm going to activate my Redbooth account by signing on this link. And then it's going to ask me for my name. So my full name is TFE Typist. My password will be, well, whatever. Doesn't. Okay, your company name, you can make up any company you want. It doesn't really matter. In this case, we'll do transcription for everyone. You could put your phone number, I guess. Number of this is really not important information. I guess you have to fill it out. Okay, and then you go to Redbooth. Let's create the again. All of this stuff is really not necessary. There's they're asking you to make this because they want you to buy Redbooth, right? But you're going to ultimately become a member of our TFE's Redbooth. So here now your Redbooth is set up. Now you can see this Redbooth is totally blank. But what's going to happen is in the actual Redbooth, okay, so Sharon or myself or Devora is going to invite you to the Redbooth. So in this case, let's invite you to Joan V Redbooth. Now you're not going to do this, but just to show you what happens on the other end of things, we're going to go here and add you as a member. Okay, and you see I'm going to add TFE Typist, or we type your own email in this case. Okay, and you're going to be invited. And when that happens, you're going to get an email from Redbooth. Now we know that these Redbooth emails take a couple of seconds to arrive. That email will say, you have been invited to be a member of the Joan V team. Okay. I wonder if I refresh this page if I'll already see that, since we have to wait for that Redbooth email to come in. And let's make life even more fun is I'm actually going to add TFE Typist to a task. Okay, we have, you're going to be Sharon is going to give you 2 small 20-second tasks to make sure that your Redbooth works, to make sure that your Dropbox works. Oh, here it is. Avinoam tab shared Joan V with you. And you can see here all the other people who are in this workspace. Okay, go to workspace, right? I guess that's what we want. Oh, and now you can see your Redbooth looks a little bit different, right? Here you can see all of the active tasks in Joan V. There's a bunch of stuff going on, a bunch of test files, as well as one actual active file. But the only thing that's actually going to be assigned to you is one where you see something on the bottom. So let me make that a little bit clearer over here. Here we we go. This is what Sharon will do. They'll add TFE typist to the task. Okay. And now if we did this right, there we go. So you can see the task, how it looks. Okay. This is how a typical task will look. The subject line will tell you the name of the assignment. In this case, it's in the Joan V project. The file is called Nakia Butler. The total length is 24 minutes, 42 seconds. And it just tells you this is a red booth test for new TFE transcriber. Your name will appear here in new TFE transcriber. Okay, it's very important that you don't touch this button, and that you don't touch this button, and that you don't touch these buttons. Don't touch any of the buttons here. The only thing that's relevant to you is here to make a comment. Okay, so when you read your task, you can just go through all this info. It tells you where to find the assignment. So in this case, it tells you it's in the Joan V active project. So this means in Dropbox, active projects, Joan V. Oh, this is actually a mistake here. I'll have to fix that. Active projects, Joan V, audio folders, test files. And there is Nakia Butler. And then similarly, it tells you guidelines and templates will be here, right? And you can look through all that fun stuff. Speaker list link, some instructions, good stuff for you here. And then finally at the bottom, the assignment. It tells you to type from minute 4 to minute 4:20, 20 seconds. Your name will appear here for your test. And your editor is S. Sagir, so you're going to send your file via email the same way you emailed them to me in the training to ssagir@transcriptionforeveryone.com. Okay, now again, if I did this right, you should ultimately get the task email, which is the same information that here in email form. And when I make a comment here, like you're going to do confirm Nakia Butler for 2/04/20, no due date. Okay, you will learn, and then you'll make a comment. And by you commenting, that's how you're going to confirm the task. See, TFE typist has confirmed the task. Oh, now here is my email has come in. And you can see that I received to email the exact same thing that you see on the task. And when I confirmed, I either confirmed by writing in here confirmation, but I could have done the same thing by confirming by just replying to the email that Red Booth sends me. Okay. Here we are. I also wanted to show you this. And when you go to, I don't know what this notification is, but if you go here to all activity, so here will show you what's going on with all of your work that you are a part of. And you can also go here to your workspaces and see. Now again, all these other tasks, you see they all have stuff going on with them, but I'm not assigned to them, or I should say TFE typist is not assigned to them. So therefore the only one that I can really open up is this one, because that's the one that I am a part of. Okay, because either myself or Sharon or Devora will have assigned you to them. Okay, I hope that is clear. Again, I personally never actually log into redbooth.com. I really only just ever reply to emails. The only thing you have to be careful of when you're replying to emails is you can see what happened here is that you don't necessarily get a separate email for every comment, because sometimes those comments are made in close proximity together. You'll receive them combined in one Red Booth email. So if you are going to rely on the email system, make sure you look at the email carefully and fully so that you don't miss anything. and here is the comment came through to the email. You see that? Because this is the Avinoam. This is how my red booth looks, because I'm a member of this task as well, right? And let's just, for completeness here, Avinoam will reply to the task. This is Avinoam replying via email to comment on the task. Okay, now I click send. Now it's not necessarily instantaneous, but if we check back here in a couple minutes, we should see Avinoam's comment come up over here. We should see that because they're really just one and the same, replying to the email or making the comment. But it's not like instantaneous. If you make a comment, so this, like, you know, on my red booth over here, I'll see that right away, instantaneously, because look, the red booth comment, oh, there it is. Avinoam's comment came up here, and there it is also in here, log into the TFE typist red booth. So you see how that works? So I can either comment here, or I can reply to the email. Both ways makes a comment to the red booth. Red booth is, like I said, an email program, so you can see all of these comments. I'm probably driving Sharon and Devor crazy. All of these comments, everything on this task, whoever is assigned to the task, whoever is a watcher, what it's called, you can give all these people, can all become watchers to the task. They all see the comments. So this is how you have conversations about files, about different problems that come up. Let me see if I just have any hanging out in my inbox that I could show you an example of like a conversation going on. Here we are. So here is like a conversation going on from all the people working on this Owen Cameron task for dictate. Okay. And then you can see there's all these messages going on. So here's how the task looked as Devora assigned it. Okay, she tells you where to find the files and some information and who are the specific people working on the file. And again, just to show you how this looks, in your workspace and your red booth, right, you would see Owen Cameron somewhere over here, right? And you can see this is exactly the same thing. Now red booth shows it to you like reversed, right? It shows you the bottom is what happened first, and as you scroll up, it shows you the I don't know what these blank boxes are. It shows you the most recent task, and in Gmail it will show you the opposite. But you see the exact same thing. See, here's the task, original task that Devora made. Okay, and then here, you know, sec back, she's confirming her assignment along with asking a question. She's saying, okay, there's a lot of thick accents in this file, and I'm just wondering if someone says yes or okay, i.e. a thinking noise, you know, do I type that and does it get a double dash? Okay, then Naomi is confirming. And then I responded, we do type thinking noises, but not if overdone, like not every single thinking noise, and yes on the double dash. Now, really, I made a mistake because I think they used 3 dots instead of a double dash for dictate. And then you can see this conversation appears in the email as well. See, here is SecBack confirming, making the comment about the accent, and here is Naomi Hale confirming her work, and here's me replying to the email, or replying to the task, saying we do type thinking noises in 3 dots. So I hope you're getting the idea that these are the same thing, and all of these comments everybody's seeing. So it's important to check these as they come in, because a lot of times like useful information will come up. Like you'll be like, oh, I didn't realize that we're supposed to, you know, not include every single thinking noise, or oh, I'm supposed to use 3 dots instead of a double dash for these particular files. It looks like I'm getting a Joan V email here, delayed from the task that we talked about. This is every norm replying via email, right? Because everything you see on one, you'll see on the other. Okay, I think I've exhausted this point of Red Booth. So I hope you got that. I hope that's clear. If not, please be in touch. Okay, the next thing is the so Sharon will give you the 2 tests, one for Alaska Court, one for the Joan V. Again, you find your assignments in the Dropbox. Make sure you do from your local Dropbox. Make sure your Dropbox is fully synchronized. Here you can see I have a blue circle, a blue dot. My version of Dropbox is a little old. Yours will be It's not, if it's not a check mark, that's basically what you mean. You see it telling me it was 3 minutes before I finished synchronizing, because Rosalie, as we saw, is sending me those expedited files now. So my Dropbox is synchronizing because she's uploading files to me. So you always load your files from Dropbox. You get everything from Dropbox, and that's what you load to ExpressScribe, and so on and so forth. Next is the calendar. Okay, you will be invited to the calendar after you have successfully showed us that you know how to use the Red Booth, and you know how to confirm, and you know how to find your assignments on Dropbox and do these little 2 20-second things. It just shows you know how to use our system. Then you'll ultimately be invited to the calendar. Now the calendar is a wonderful tool, but the one problem with the calendar is it really does take a few moments to load. Okay, I'm just going to open up the calendar. You will have a link. Save that link, bookmark it. This is what the calendar looks like. Okay, now like I said, it does take like a minute. Give it like a good minute just to load. You can see right now it looks like it load, but it's really frozen. Like I cannot click anywhere. I cannot do anything over here because it hasn't finished loading yet. You might get a little window that comes up, you know, Google is waiting for the page to load. Should you wait or should you kill the page? So just tell it to wait, be patient, and it will ultimately load. But while it's loading, I'll tell you how the calendar works. So here you have the day of the week, right? February 7th is Sunday, February 8th, Monday. Here we're telling you like holidays, right? Rosh Chodesh Adar happens to be on Tuesday and Wednesday. Here's that little box, right? So just say wait, just be patient. Okay, and then Thursday, Friday, and then Shabbat. We put the parsha. We put holidays here so you can have an idea. And this first couple columns are locked. So as you scroll down to your name, you'll be able to see the date. Okay. Now in the gray is where you're going to put the amount of minutes that you're available for any particular day. So it's not that I'm available for 0 minutes. I have put down a lot of minutes. In the white above the gray. There's a little wait box again. In the white above the gray is where Sharon or Devora will tell you. Let's see. No. Has it been a minute yet? I don't know. Still hasn't loaded yet. We're getting there. We're getting there. In the white above the gray is where it'll tell you what assignments you're working on, which basically takes down your minutes. So if you had, let's say, 100 minutes in here, so at first, Sharon will write something in this white box like 29811, that's the job number, 10 minutes of a file. So then that 100 will turn to 90. And then if she assigns something else, let's say 30 minutes or something, then she'll write in the next bit of your assignment. Here we go. Now the calendar is working. So how long did that take? I don't know. You can tell that it's working because now I can click from box to box. Okay. I apologize. This is not so quick. Okay. It's a large file. You see there's a lot of people working on this calendar. But it's you just give it a minute or two to load, and it's pretty good. So let's look at D. Seidman's here minutes, okay? So you can see here that she had at one point 15. But then Sharon assigned her 15 minutes of this particular task. So that's why she's down to 0. Now on Monday, she's not working, so she's put 0. It's very important that you put 0 on the days that you don't want to work. And then you see she has 15 minutes of availability on Tuesday and another 15 on Wednesday. And down here, you can go to future weeks. So it's important that you fill out as long as possible your weeks. Now, not everyone does that. Some people are better than others. But the more in advance you're able to fill out your availability on the calendar, the better chance we have of assigning you work. So again, let me just explain how that worked a little bit more. We'll look at here Adina Zuckerman. Okay, so here she has 0, but we can work backwards. Here she has been assigned to work on the first 30 minutes of this particular file. And if she were to look in her Red Booth and her emails, she would see the assignment corresponding to this. So she had 30 here, which is then brought down to 0. Similarly here, now she's finishing those 30 minutes, so she's down to 0 again. And now here she's working on the next thing, first 20 minutes. And here she's working on the last 18 minutes. And now she's got 23 minutes for you. So I hope you see how that works. You put in your availability of the amount of minutes that you want to be assigned on a particular day in this gray box. And as you are assigned work, the explanation of what that work is in the white box on top of the gray, and we are reducing your minutes. But if all of a sudden you find you have more availability, you finished your work early, so you can certainly go ahead and change that, and increase that number. Now, please do not touch anyone else's column. Only work on your own column. Don't know why this person has no minutes, has no name here. That's interesting. Who's that supposed to be? Shelly West, I guess. She lost her name. So please don't delete anything here that's not yours. And here in this column, time of day you usually work. This is important. You should tell us when you normally work, because if we have some sort of rush deadline or something going on, we want to know when you assign something early, or if you work early or work late, so we can coordinate typists and editors. If you have any special notes, like here people put, I don't like to work on dictate, or I only want to do certain files, or I don't know. All sorts of different comments in here. You can have fun looking at them. And here, very important, is that you have your email. You can see most people put their transcription for everyone email, but some people put their personal email. It's really the exact same thing. And the phone number. It's very important you have a phone number here listed. Okay? That way we can get in touch with you if, we lost your assignment or something. I don't know. Then we have the coaching calls, which we talked about. You'll receive notifications about those when they happen. And then everything here, setting up the Dropbox, everything we talked about is in there. And these are like the most important policies from the information folder, the info folder, and then the manual. Again, there's a lot of information here. I appreciate that. Go through it. It seems overwhelming. It seems like it's a lot of stuff, but really it's it all like comes together as you sort of practice it and do it. If you don't know really what's going on, just feel free to ask, be in touch. We're here to help. We're here to get you through this. One of my favorite things is to use TeamViewer, which can be found in your info folder, software, TeamViewer. You install TeamViewer. When you open up TeamViewer, you'll get a screen like this once it's opened up. So send me your ID and your password, okay, and that will let me into your computer to see what's going on, what sort of problems you're having. It also lets us chat, and 99% of the time, any problem that you're having, once I get into your computer with a TeamViewer, I'm able to solve it for you, no problem. So I hope that this video is helpful. I hope that I have explained to you this welcome email, how to set up Dropbox. So just like a review really quickly. Please make sure you download Dropbox. You only ever use Dropbox locally, not from Dropbox.com. Selectively sync only that which you need. If you did not selectively sync everything, and then all of a sudden you're assigned to work on a particular project, and you're like, hey, how come I don't see those files in my Dropbox, right? So it probably means that you haven't selectively synced one of these particular folders. Unfortunately, the transcriber transcripts folder, which is where you're going to save your work all of the time, whenever I add a new person to TFE, a new folder, so there's no way to like lock the folder that you won't get them. So every like once a week or so, as we bring on new people, you might want to just go back and unselectively sync those new people, because you don't necessarily want their work in your folder. Some options that I didn't talk about in Dropbox is I personally don't like to have the badge show. The badge is like this little Dropbox icon over here, and you might choose to uncheck show desktop notifications. That's like those little things that say like someone has added a new file, someone has added a new file, so you don't necessarily need to know about that, so you can uncheck that, but certainly make sure that the Dropbox is checked to start on system startup. Okay, then we talked about the info folder in Dropbox, your TFE email, which is just a forwarder. You don't have to set it up. You don't have to do anything like that. Redbooth, we talked about that extensively, how it's an email program to discuss files. You'll see you can either reply to the email, or you can post a comment. You'll see lots of tasks on Redbooth, but only the ones that you're actually assigned to you'll be able to get into, like this one, for example, for an Apfeldorfer, like I can't do anything. You know, I can't see anything there the same way that I can here. That I can see everything that's going on here, right? And then on my dashboard, this should work. See here. This tells you like the latest what's going on with your files, with your particular assignments. So TFE typist here in this case only has this one job going on. So as I click here, this should open up with the information of the task. My internet is being a little bit problematic today. Well, you will see it over here. That's just another way to access it, similar with the all activity, or you can just go to your workspaces to find your relevant task. That's Redbooth. Like I said, I don't like Redbooth personally. Going into redbooth.com, it's like slow. Like you can see here, it's not working so great. But everything goes to your email, and if you just actually, my internet went down. That's why it's not working. We have a lot of rain today, so where I live, if there's a lot of rain, internet goes down. Sort of annoying. That's why it's not being so good. But it all does go to your email. The only thing is that when it goes to your email, make sure that you check the whole email that gets sent, because sometimes one or two comments will be combined. And the calendar, spoke about that. Just be patient when it opens, and put in your minutes, and make sure that you put it out as long as it goes. And every week, right, we usually add keep this 3 weeks in advance. So make sure that you constantly keep this up to date. It's also important that you are checking your calendar, like what you're supposed to be working on, and also versus Redbooth. Because if Redbooth tells you that something is due on a particular day, but your calendar tells you that, for example, you might get something in Redbooth that tells you it's due on February 11th, okay? But you might get 3 assignments at once, and you become overwhelmed. Hey, how am I supposed to do all of those today? But if you check carefully, they're all due by February 11th or different due dates, and your calendar, right, these parts up here, will actually tell you what we're expecting you to work on at a certain time. And even though maybe something's only due, to the client February 11th, we still might need you to get it done February 9th, because then the editor is going to work on it February 10th, so that it can get to the client February 11th. So make sure that you're checking your calendar every day to tell you what you're supposed to be working on that particular day. And I think that's it. Okay, I've probably talked your ear off. I hope that was clear. I hope this was helpful. Enjoy your transition to TFE. We really look forward to working with you. Congratulations. We're really excited. Please be in touch. Do not be afraid to email me your questions, or share in your questions, or ask things on Redbooth. That's why we're here. We're all here to learn. We're all here to improve and get better. And I look forward to seeing you on the other side. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful experience at TFE. All the best. Bye-bye.